Hello everybody. Hey, it's Ken Faulkner, and it's kind of wrapping it up. Blade Show West 2023. If you've been watching my channel lately, seems like that's all that's going on. I mean, I got videos from Blade Show West. I've been talking about it for seems like months now, and it's done. It has happened, and it was very successful and very fun. And so I had some people, I showed the knives that I bought. I was so tired after walking and standing, talking with people all day long, that I just didn't have the energy to go into detail on each knife. And I did end up with quite a nice bunch of knives here. And I did mention in a comment that, yeah, I'll be telling everybody exactly what I did buy, not just showing the knives. So this one has the potential of being a very long video from my past experience when I start getting into knives. So I'm going to try to keep it brief because I will be doing individual videos on a lot of these knives. Some of these are going to be going out, and I'll just discuss that with you. I mentioned about it. Some of these are going to be gifts. So it may not be videos on them, but you can kind of see them briefly here and talk about them. Blade Show West was in Utah, and went up there on Thursday, spent the night, got up in the morning, Friday morning, went down for breakfast at the hotel, and, you know, I see this guy walking around, looks familiar. It's Ben Belkin. He's getting his breakfast. And, you know, I've talked with him quite a bit, and he actually recognizes me, which is kind of surprising to me, and remembers my name. But that's the kind of guy he is. So anyway, he actually came over and sat down with me, and we talked a little bit about just about the show and everything like that, and had a little quick breakfast together. So that was a great way to start the whole event. So went it down, stood in line for 3 hours. I don't think you may have seen videos of the line of people waiting to get in. I got the earlier bird passes, which is kind of valuable if you really want to get in and get some of those knives that may sell out quickly, and that does happen. And so I'm in line for about 3 hours, and you know, the great thing about one of the many great things about Blade Show is that the people there, this is a community, just like you see that in YouTube, the knife community on YouTube, where people are communicating back and forth. You actually start to get relationships with people. But just standing in line, every time I've gone to a Blade Show, I stand in line, I get in a conversation with people next to me, and we all have this common reason why we're there, and we're all very excited. And that's just the way it is. So you get to know people, and yeah. So I'm discussing with the guy behind me who's there with his son. Then another guy who's there, and he's kind of a vendor who's a buyer. He actually works for one of the firearms companies, but he's they're selling knives as well as part of their product line, and he's there to kind of network, you know. So great conversations. Waiting for them to come around with the wristbands. Got the wristbands, and it's another hour or so before we get to go in. Once the door opens, though, it goes pretty quick. It's a big long line. There must have been 200-300 people in line, but it moves in pretty quick. Some people are running to those booths. You know, I wasn't at the front of the line for sure because I wasn't getting up. It was 40 degrees outside at Salt Lake City. Degrees Fahrenheit. I wasn't getting up there early in the morning and like sleeping outside or anything like that. I was in my cozy hotel, but I got there in plenty of time. I was able to get some of the stuff I wanted. I had a list of things before the show came up. I was thinking about what I wanted to get, so I had a few things that I set up. I didn't get all of them. Some of them weren't available. Some of them I got to see but not buy. But I did get some great stuff. So day one was really getting those prime things that I was looking at. So I'm going to move these guys out of the way. That's kind of a separate group. This one is one of the ones from the first day, and you kind of can recognize that, right? And you know, this case is something that I was intending to buy as well. Vault case. It's TSA approved, and it's good for traveling for sure. And it holds a lot more knives than most of my traveling cases that I've had, and I knew I was going to be buying a lot of knives, so I picked this guy up. And I actually have a lot of the knives that I bought at Blade Show in here. So I'm just going to kind of go through them one by one. Like I say, it could very well be long, but I'm going to try to see what I can do about that. So there's like 3 different layers, and I'm not using all of them. We've got these are actually sold by BRS, Blade Runner System. I bought a knife from them last year, and I bought a case from them then, but this is a kind of a more premium one. So there's a place down here to put knives. You got like a zipper pouch, little folding thing with the Velcro. You can put patches on, and these things can come off, and you can mix and match, do what you want. Then here's another layer here, and then down here is actually another layer of knives. So here is kind of more the premium knives. A lot of these are ones that I actually had on my list. So I'm going to go through some of the less, maybe, I don't know if I'd say less exciting, but the less premium ones that I got at the show. Right here, not knocking any of these knives, great knives. First day, one of the ones that I was going to get, American Blade Works. They are a company that was at Blade Show Atlanta, and I kept hearing about them. I wanted to go see them. It was such a huge place. It was so hard. The Blade Show West is a little bit easier. So I had the map. I was able to find them, and they had some of their knives. They had the Model 2s, which have the titanium, but I was really kind of interested in, at this point, at the Model 1's version 6 that is right here. You can see I've already kind of handled it a bit. You get the discoloration in the micarta here. But I got to talk to the guy that, you know, I'm terrible with names, but I got to talk to the guy, and I just know that he's a great guy, very open to talk to, obviously passionate about what he's doing. And I bought this one, which is my first Magna Cut. You can see Magna Cut right there on the blade, if I can get the focus. Magna Cut. First Magna Cut knife. As a collector, I'm not a big knife steel snob, but as a collector, I like to have a lot of different things and different knife shapes, different knife blade materials, different types of knives. As a collector, that's kind of part of what I look for. So as a collector, that Magna Cut was a desirable thing for me to get. And you can also see on the pivot here, made in USA. And that is 100% on this one, because he makes his own hardware even out of titanium. I mean, this is a labor of love for this guy. He really goes into everything. He owns everything about these knives. And it's not, as far as EDC and like fidgetability, maybe not the most desired for that kind of thing. But as far as the quality of the design, and, you know, there's a nice little aesthetics to this that I hopefully will pick up on the camera. Yeah, if I rotate it where the light hit it just right, you can see those lines that go across there. You may have seen that on other channels, on other YouTube videos, but I kind of dig that. That's this guy's doing stuff on a CNC machine. I mean, that helps, him being kind of a one-man show. He's got his CNC machine, but that's a real skill to be able to program this stuff in, so he can have this blade cut out of Magna Cut, and he has those cool, unusual little ridges in the blade, and I think that's cool. I mean, you know, everybody's got their things that attract them to knives, or anything that you collect, or anything that you like. Maybe you're a car guy, maybe you're a watch guy, whatever. That's something I've really found from being in the community, talking with people. Everybody's got their own reasons why they like things, and everybody's reasons are valid. Certainly mine are they may be shared by some people, and other people might think I don't know what he's talking about, but they're real for me, and that's what I like, and I don't have a problem with that. That pocket clip is kind of cool. Very thin right here, so it goes in and out of the pocket really well. Not the strongest spring in the world, but it works great. And the way that it's got that nice shelf there for the pocket clip across, it really leaves room for it to go on your jean pocket, and so it works very well. So here I am, spending too much time on one knife already. This is the Model 1 version 6. I don't know, maybe sometime he'll come up with names for his knives, but for now, that's how he's doing it. And hey, it's his business. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't have a problem with it. More from the first day where I was trying to hit up all these premium things. Let's see, what do I want to look at? I went straight to this booth, and obviously Jack Wolf, Ben Belkin. I see him as a brand that is very impressive, and I see him as a guy who is very accessible, very willing to talk to anybody. I mean, all through the show, he always had crowds, and he always took time to talk to people and spent time and effort. And this is one of his new ones. I have 2 others, but this one is my 3rd one now. Seems like every show, it's kind of like a thing that I do is I buy one of, oh, wrong, surprise, wrong knife. Hang on, that's the one from the last show. That's funny. And, you know, the funny thing is that, and if you put these knives next to each other that I have, the 3, I had the Vampire and the Feel Good, and now this is the Laid Back Jack. But you can see the amount of time in the pocket, the wear and tear, but it's like a patina, and it looks really cool. And as you get from the oldest to the newest, you can see a gradual change to the darkest one, which I should have been able to recognize. But anyway, let me get that out of the way. This is the Laid Back Jack, and this is one that he had made in his first round of knives, but he's coming back around to them and bringing them with new handle materials. So this one is the titanium. Now, I had on my list for this knife, or the one with the wood handle, which he's done. And I was talking to Ben about it. I said, oh, see, like he said, he said, oh, I'm an idiot, I didn't bring it. But I mean, the guy's a genius. So this was probably equally as interesting to me with the jig pattern titanium. Another first for me. I've seen all these knives with the jig pattern. I've always liked the way they look with like the traditional knives with bone. But this is a milled version of it, and you could tell that there's some thought involved with it. And just detail-wise, it's not a total repeat of a pattern. There is some randomness to it to make it look more natural, like it's actual bone. There's not like this repeated sort of look that you see on some jig patterns. So, you know, you're seeing the quality there. So it's, instead of just being a titanium bolster with like maybe a fat carbon handle, this one is the titanium all the way down, that cool stonewashed kind of titanium. I'll get this knife blade out. Another great knife shape. This is like a Wharncliffe kind. It's kind of modeled after a sway back, so you can see the handle kind of comes up, and that gives you a different kind of feel of the grip in your hand. So sway back is got a different kind of, you know, some of them will angle downward, whereas this one has the handle angling upward, and it's a different kind of feel for the cut. Obviously Wharncliffe is going to be a very good cutting knife. This one, I don't know that this one is, if you take a look at it, I don't really see so much of a hollow on this, but you know, guaranteed this thing cuts really well, and it is an S90V blade. It's almost got kind of his font there for the S90V. Very cool Jack Wolf kind of feel to the whole thing. Yeah, this is going to be a long video. Sorry, guys. So let me close this up and put it away, and I'm going to get on with it. I'll try my best. Try my best. Let's stay focused. Next place that I went, or maybe the first place, it's all kind of a blur now, is to Revo Knives. And another thing that I've been kind of going to at shows the last few years is always hitting up the Revo Knives booth. And they did have the nip, which is the new one that he has. That's a very small little fifth pocket type knife. It was very cool. I did like it and everything like that. But the thing is that with these knife companies coming out, especially ones that I really like Jack Wolf, I just can't get them all. And I've always got this kind of running list of the ones that I want to get. So I've gotten like 3 other versions of the Revo Knives models. But this one is the Mash. Okay, Mash definitely has that hollow. Look at that hollow. It's so good. Anyway, I kind of decided that that's what I was going to get. And the funny thing is, I didn't know if they're going to have them. They only had like 3 of them there, and I was there early in the show. So apparently these are kind of going by the wayside. I went on their website to kind of look at information on it. And turns out that they don't even show it on their website now. So I don't know what the future is for this one, but I was glad I got to pick one up while there was still a chance. Kevin said, there's 3 here, and that's what we got. You know, it sounded like maybe that was the only 3 left to offer for sale. Don't really know, but I really like this knife. The action is, as always, just spectacular. Price was a little bit lower. It wasn't up in that 300 range. It was more in the 100 something range, I believe. And a lot of times the prices at the shows are lower than you are going to get like off the website or whatever. Also, a good thing to do if you go to the shows is to bring some cash, because it's just easier for them. And cash is king. I kept hearing that over and over in the show. So anyway, got the Mash. Very cool. Action is really good. 14C28N, so it's not the real high-end premium steel so much, but, you know, that's a great steel. And the titanium of the handle is very comfortable. It's got this little liner lock, and action is awesome. Jimping on the spine is very nice, and I really like this knife. So that's the Revo Mash. What are we going to do next? Ooh, this is a tough one. It's getting tough now. Another one I had on the list, and I've been wanting to get for a long time. I've been eyeing these at shows and in general. Vero Engineering. Vero Engineering. Always look at that. You can kind of see it peeking through. I went to that booth, one of the first ones, because, you know, I had to get there before I spent all my money. And believe me, in the first hour, I had depleted my funds probably by at least 1/3, if not more, of what I was going to spend at the show. It went fast. But this one, I looked at what they had. I checked through all of them. They do have some other blade shapes, like a drop point, which is very cool. But I always kind of associated Vero Engineering with this, the axon shape. Kind of like the sharp lines. And I talked to the guy, again, not good with names. I remember Ben's name because I've talked to him a lot more, Kevin. But I'm sorry, unfortunately, I can't remember his name. But he's a great guy. He is an engineer. I'm an engineer. We talked about it a little bit. We kind of have a common understanding of things because of that. But yeah, Vero Engineering, it makes sense, right? Got this little pocket that's cut out here as the little mini fuller, if you want to call it that. But it's sharp edge. It's not like rounded like most of them are. And obviously the Damascus on this is pretty spectacular. Now, from what I understand, this is not like a Damas steel. It's not quite that higher end, but because of that, it kept the price down a little bit. So this is kind of in that $300 range. But man, just having this for a while, and it's not the sharpest detent. I was noticing that before, but it doesn't open in my pocket. I'm not super hyper on the detent thing, but it just goes out so smooth that you really don't fail this knife, because once it gets going, it's just a smooth glide, of course under the camera, smooth glide outward. But it also has this other opening option. I'll see if I can do it. there you go. The flick open option. I don't know if that's, I doubt that that's intended, but it does have also a top flipper, and a lot of times that top flipper needs a lighter detent. And it works great. I mean, there's nothing wrong with this thing. Like I say, if it's going to open up in my pocket and stab me in the hand when I go to reach for it, I'm not going to like that. But never have a problem with that as long as I've had it. Carbon fiber for the handle. I believe this one, let me look on my little spreadsheet here, is the Bowler M390. Oh, Damascus. Yeah, obviously Damascus. It's a higher. I don't remember exactly what he said the material was, but it's not like a VG10 type, what you see in some of the lower end Damascus. So it's a higher quality. This thing cuts really, really well. Okay, I gotta move on. I love this knife, but I gotta move on. Next, another one. And when I was in line talking to people, a lot of people were talking about Null Knives. And this one's got a nice strong pocket clip. It makes it a little hard to get out of this container. This is the Voodoo. The Voodoo from Null Knives. And this thing is really a piece of artwork. I mean, it is really nice. Similar to like an Isham design or something like that. I mean, obviously doesn't have his specific flair, but there's a lot of artistic, almost modern, like space age kind of look to it. I mean, just the lines on it are beautiful. It's a really cool, this thumb, it's not really a thumb stud, the thumb triangle works super well. And it's kind of a unique thing. That's great as a collector to have something like that. You got a choke up spot, nice black micarta with a titanium here. Very cool like a bolster lock kind of lock. So you got the frame lock without having to worry about hitting, putting pressure on that lock bar. Also super smooth, really smooth knife. Very, very cool. The Voodoo from Null Knives. And people in line were saying, yeah, you should probably get over there quick because they sell out. I was there, and one guy was saying, oh, man, these knives are great. I already have 3 of them. I'm buying another one. So, yeah, I think it was pretty much a great knife to pick up for me. And I'm really liking it. Let's see what the blade steel is on this guy. M390. I think it's a Bowler M390 on this guy. So yeah, it's got a bit of a hollow to it. So catching the light just right. More of a shallow hollow, not so much like that mash, but this kind of modified sheep's foot. That's a fun one that everybody kind of uses, but it's kind of got that with that little scoop out at the very end that gives you this incredible tip. So yeah, great little cutout here on the fuller, but you don't really need it because that triangle you just nail it every time. It's just so easy. Good jimping, great knife. Okay, moving on. We are already at 23 minutes. Sorry guys, but you might want to watch this in multiple sittings. That's what I tend to do on these long type of videos. Another one that I wanted to get. Now this is more closer to a budget range. I can't remember what this one costs, but I know it's not the cheapest, but it is. You can see the little pivot there, Civivi, and you can recognize this probably. Again, talking about being a collector, it's the one thing I thought about when I was at the show is why I buy knives. What is it that draws me to knives, or makes me want to spend money on knives, or more money on certain knives? And there's a collectability for certain types of knives, and when they have a different kind of locks like this one, which is what they call the super lock, which sounds kind of cheesy, but it's cool. I like it. It reminds me of the shark lock. It's like once that shark lock came out, everybody was kind of jumping on that. There's the Atlas lock over at Cold Steel. I'm not saying that they're copying each other, but obviously there's a bit of inspiration going on there. And this is the Vision by Civivi. I think they have a Wii version of it as well, but this is the cheaper version. once I started buying a few of these knives at these high prices, then I started saying, well, let's see if I can pace myself. And this one was on my list, and it was because of this. And I want to do a video at some point talking about different kinds of locks. And there's so many different ones. You know, you got your standard ones, and then you got some of these other ones that are a little bit more unique. And I have several knives. I haven't gotten an Atlas lock yet. I went over there and looked at them, but I don't think they had any that were actually for sale. Maybe that they had the 3-inch Engage, but I don't really care to get that one. I'd like to get either a 3.5 of that or the Mayhem, which is the one I'm kind of thinking about right now. So hopefully, once I get to the point where I can actually buy again, I'll get a Mayhem and do a video on all these different locks. So moving on. And I know I'm not getting into all the details of these, but I will do. Most of these are going to see like their own video. This one's an interesting knife. I put it where you can see it. This is something that I've never seen before. Never heard of the company before. The company's name, I'm going to look it up here because I can't remember. Latama Victorium. And there's just this one guy. It was actually a table, not actually a booth. So when you go into Blade Show, there's going to be a bunch of these tables that are, I guess, are less expensive. They have less area. They may have banners and stuff like that, but they're not as elaborate as the booths. The booths are for the higher ends. You got the Civivis, you got the Kaisers, you got the, and you see this in my videos. But this guy was all there by himself. As far as I know, he was the only one. Maybe he had somebody else that was spending some time, but look at that blue titanium. Super cool. And he had, it's funny, one of the things that attracted me, because you go through a Blade Show and there's like, especially on the tables, you get these things that just catch your eye. They really catch your eye. And then this table had a bunch of switchblades, old school switchblades, like, you know, from back in the old days, you know, like in the 50s, or they're pushing that button and you know, give me your money type thing. Anyway, they had some of those, and then they had some other knives, and this was kind of off to the side. And as far as my understanding, this is like a custom knife maker. And I'm going, okay, these are cool to look at. There's no way I'm going to be able to buy one, but it's cool to look at. And then I was talking to the guy, and he said, that thing's $200. I go, really? It's $200? Now, one of the things about this one is that when I was first getting it out, I was showing this to JB from Big Red EDC, and he was looking at it, and he's going, yeah, lock stick. Still has a little bit of lock stick on the button lock here, but it's gotten a lot better, and hopefully it's just going to continue to get better. The guy gave me some oil, so I might try to clean it up a little bit with that. But look at that dual grind on that blade. It's beautiful. I mean, this is a really, I really like this knife. And for $200, and actually, this guy was only accepting cash. So, I mean, some of the people won't actually take anything but cash. So I ended up having to go to the ATM machine. This is kind of a famous thing there. You know, run out to the ATM, grab the money. He gave it to me for $190, so I was really happy with that. And it's got great action. I love this kind of look. It's almost kind of like that Hinderer kind of look with the way the flipper comes down, and it's like a guard. So if you got it in your hand and you get a full grip on it like this, or you can choke up, and you got that good choke up position. Really nice. Man, I'm super happy about this. And this may be one of my kind of overall, because of the fact that the price, overall value, the anodizing on the handle is just fabulous. I mean, I'm not big on a lot of crazy anodization, but something like this where it's kind of a monotone, you know, nice blue like this, really nice. Titanium. I think the steel on this guy is 20 CV, so there you go. This is the, you can see on the, probably not going to be able to see it, but anyway, you'll be seeing more videos on this one. We'll look at that in more detail later. All right, I'm flipping it over. Getting into some of these other knives over here. Now we're getting into a range. So, I mean, we've got those high-end, really nice titanium knives and things like that. But this is kind of like a different range over here. Once I started getting into the second day, I realized, hey, if I keep going like this, there's no way I'm going to be able to pay off my credit card. I'm going to be going in debt for quite a while. Got to slow it down. So I started looking at things, and this is one that I got that I'm super happy about, and I've been thinking about it for a while. And you probably, if you've been around the knife world for a while, know what this is. It's a Hog Deca. And yeah, I just hadn't pulled the trigger before. It's a USA-made knife, Hog Deca, and if you can see it here, CPM Magna Cut. And cool knife. You know, it's funny thing is that I hadn't looked at it closely enough. I was looking at one that was all blacked out on the blade, and I'm looking here. You see right here in the middle of the blade, I'm going, hey, it's got this scratch here. What's going on? I mean, it's a brand new knife. Why does it have a scratch? The guy had to tell me that, hey, man, that's a dual grind. Come on. So it's got two different grinds. It's got the thinner edge here for more slicey towards the tip, which I think is a great idea, and a little more robust in the back. So you get the steel behind the edge. Less slicey, more robust edge on the backside. That's a nice little design. Great jimping here. Nice little place for your thumb. Good action. I felt this. It's got a good handle. I mean, this has been compared, and it's very similar to the Bug Out. But I thought this was G10. It's pretty strong. I mean, I'm squeezing it. It's not really going anywhere. I actually changed out my Bug Out for G10 handles just because of that reason. But when I looked up the stats on it, it's actually like a not an FRN, but a polymer. But man, I am impressed with it. It's got some really good milling on it. Works really well. The lock works well. Small, light knife. Action's a little bit suffers because of that. You know, but once you get the hang of it, it's very comparable to the Bug Out as far as the way it comes in and out. Maybe a little bit stiffer, but it's more new. So Magna Cut blade, $135, and I don't know if that's standard or if just at the show. $135 for Magna Cut and a Hog USA-made Deca. Very awesome. Moving on. I'm trying, guys. I'm trying. Some of the other interesting ones that I picked up. This one, you get some of these. This was from the Kaiser booth. It's called the Infinity. I was talking to the guy there. Again, names. I hadn't met him before, so my ability to remember names is not going to be that good. But anyway, he was over there at the end of the booth, and he had all these ones that he had done some customization with, and he had like these hanks with like a gecko on it. So you may know who I'm talking about. I think he's fairly well known. Anyway, he was there talking about it and showing me this one, and it was a good price on that second day. And it's the Infinity. The steel on this guy is... I got so many knives at the show, I can't really even remember all of these stats. Kaiser Infinity N690. N690. So that's one of those blades. In fact, I think it says it right here. N690, yeah, I can see it. I don't know if you can see it. The camera will behave itself. N690 Kaiser. Cool little knife, smaller, not as big as my usual, but had a good price. Front flipper, over the top, nice action, cool look. It's kind of like a penguin kind of look, kind of a tuxedo-ish, or reverse tuxedo, because I guess you would have white in the middle and black on the outside. But anyway, cool aesthetic to it. You know, Kaiser does great stuff. Obviously, a good blade. Moving on. Okay, let's see. I almost got this whole thing empty, so we're getting there. Rosecraft. I always like going to the Rosecraft Blade booth. Good people. I mean, they just, you know, like Ben Belkin, who's very, very easy to talk to. Andy over at Rosecraft Blades is really easy to talk to, and I think this might be the first time that I met his wife at the show. She is quite a personality. She is something else. Hey, if you know Rosecraft Blades, they always have their China little sticker there. I took that off, but I still have, I gotta get some rubbing alcohol and really clean that off. She was telling me about this knife. I guess, you know, Andy is one of their main designers, but she says, well, you know, he designs it, but I'm the boss. And she wanted to have, am I going to blow this? This knife shape is a traditional shape, Barlow. So she wanted a Barlow in a more modern version. So you see the way that has the kind of a bolster kind of look to it. Obviously, this is a button lock. If you look at it, it's got a button lock. So it's not a traditional, and it's got a flipper. But it does have that Barlow shape to it, and that's what kind of attracted it to me to go ahead and buy. And this was a great price. Rosecraft has some great prices on their knives. Some are a little bit more expensive, but the quality is there because of it. Talked to them a little bit about USA manufacturing, because they're working on it. And, you know, in the USA, part of the reason why USA knives are kind of expensive is that it's hard to get things going in the USA, you know, trying to negotiate getting a business started. But they're still working on it. Clearly, it's still a thing, and it may be a while. But anyway, this is a very cool knife. And when I was talking to her about it, she's like saying, hey, take stickers, blah, blah, blah. Got lots of stickers at the show. Maybe I'll do a thumbnail. You may see it with stickers from the show. But she gave me a bunch. She was all excited. I told her I had a channel. If you haven't seen it yet, I got a little short on from their booth talking about them. So she's all being super nice about it. And she said, here, just, you know, I was looking at this knife, and it's a little slip joint. This one is called, let's see, I forgot to tell you what this one's called. So this one is called the Castoria. I hadn't heard of it before, but it was just like an immediate interest because of the story behind the blade shape and whatnot. Castoria. And this one is called the Awanata, or I don't know, I'm probably not pronouncing it correctly, but it's a little tiny slip joint. Obviously, it could go on your keychain. Pretty cool little guy. Blade steel on this one. The other one's D2. This one's D2. It's very snappy for this little tiny thing. I mean, there's quality there. I like the purple. Purple's very cool. Dopey, if you're watching this, you know what I'm talking about. We love purple. And yeah, Rosecraft blades. They have some great slip joints. I've shown a few on my channel. This is a cool little one. It's very small. I mean, it's not, you're not going to do anything major with it. It's like a 2-finger grip, but it's a cool little collector piece here. And she threw that one in for free. Best price ever. For free. All right, moving along. Maybe I can, nope, 37 minutes. Sorry, guys. Funny story on this one. Try to keep it short. I was buying this at the BRS booth. And he said, if you spend a certain amount, you get a free knife. I'm a sucker for a free knife. But I had to spend a certain amount. So I had to pick up this guy too. This is another vault case. A little smaller version of it. It's got this cool little zipper pouch on it. Or you can put patches on there. But anyway, so I went ahead and sprung for that. Got this knife, and it's from Revo Knives. I've heard of them before, but I've never had one. Never really checked them out. Looked at the blade. I like the blade shape. I think that's pretty cool. It's just a cool look to it. It's a button lock, one of these tiny little buttons. It's kind of not the greatest, kind of sticky. But the thing that's the most funny to me on this, because I have never experienced this steel before, 4CR 13 MOV. I'm okay with 8CR, 9CR, 10CR, 4CR. I mean, I've heard of knives like that, but I mean, wow, that's crazy. So it's going to be interesting to see what this blade works like, how fast it dulls, what it's like to sharpen. I'm kind of curious, you know, just for that factor, and because it was free, I'm not mad at it, but I certainly wouldn't buy it. I'm not going to give it away to anybody because I kind of feel bad about giving somebody something with a 4CR blade, but it does have a hollow here. It's got this cool little Skinner kind of look to it. So there's a lot of kind of cool aspects to it. Revo Knives. I guess they're associated with BRS, and the guy said, hey, check this out. I want people to be able to take a look at them. other than the blade steel, I don't really have, and the buttons a little bit, not the best. But other than that, I kind of like this knife, I have to say. But I'm kind of like a knife slut in a way. Anyway, that's it. Revo Knives. This one is called the Canyon. If you're interested, Canyon. I think they're like 25, 30 bucks. Really cheap. If you want to pick up a knife, maybe I'll do a video later on if it's not too terrible and say, hey, you know, 4CR, but it's still good for this reason, that reason, the other reason. We'll see. All right. So that's through all those knives that I'm planning on keeping, and then I actually brought home 18 knives. 2 of them were free. 16 I bought. One of them is not here, and that's because I've already given one away. A friend at work who's always super supportive, always super nice about my knives and me coming in and showing the knives, and either she's very, very good at pretending to be interested, or she really is excited about all the knives I show to her. So yeah, I brought her 2 knives, 2 from Artisan Cutlery. I can't remember off the top of my head what the name of that one that she did pick. It was aluminum blue handle. One, she liked that one. This is the other one I had her looking at. This is the Pyrite, the very popular one, and most people know it. I don't really have to talk about it too much. It's interesting. It's got this pink kind of handle, and you know, she's a girl, but I don't know. I mean, I'm okay with pink. I don't have a problem with pink. Back in the day, when I was a long time ago, when I was young, I was kind of into the punk scene a little bit, and this kind of reminds me of that Sex Pistols album cover a little bit. But yeah, purple, pink and purple doesn't scare me. I'm okay with it. But anyway, Pyrite, button lock, you know, if you know, you know, and most people know. So that's a cool one. But that one's on the auction block for possible giveaway. I have a few other people that I want to offer knives to and let them decide from the ones I have left which one they want. So we'll see what happens with that. Then there's the 3 sin cuts. Now at the booth on the edge, they had a bunch of these knives, and they were $20 a piece. Now these, I looked them up, they're like 50, 60 buck knives, but you know, or maybe a little bit less, but definitely not. I mean, 20 is more than half off. And this is one of those knives. They're all sin cut, as you can see. And sin cut is the budget version of Civivi. And they have awesome pouches. I mean, you get, with sin cut, basically what you're getting is the benefit of a company like Civivi and We that has such good quality and capability that you're really, even at a lower price, you're really getting a lot of value for a lower cost. So this one is called the Sin Cut San Angelo, and I had not really seen this one before. But with that $20 price range, there were several models that they had there, and all of these were $20 each. I thought, hey, that's great. I'll take them, give them away. If friends of mine aren't, if I don't give them away to friends of mine, I'll do giveaways on the channel. And you know, these are great knives. I mean, Sin Cut, good quality. Like I say, I've never seen this one before. This one actually has a 9CR, which is not a bad blade steel. And it's a cool shape. It's kind of got that downward, kind of, I was trying to explain to my girlfriend how if you take this handle straight across and the blade goes down, it gives it that little extra cutting ability. Kind of like the Vasi knife shade or kukri. So it's a cool knife. Nice full size, long knife. Good quality, good action. You know, just budget. Really good. Next one is another one from Sin Cut. Let's see which one this one is. Okay, now this one, I already own one of these, and I love it. It's a great knife. I mean, budget, but good quality. It's the Actium. It's one of their really cool version. Got the hollow grind in there. You can see it. Kind of harpoony. Good jimping. Great knife. Good quality. G10. This one's in D2. Yeah, it's a good knife. So I think it'd be a good giveaway knife for, you know, not like that super big giveaway, like a 500 or 1,000 or something like that, but maybe 400, something like that. We'll see what happens. The last one, this one I actually like, and I kind of halfway kind of want to keep it. And I've seen this recently. It's not so old. I think it's fairly new. But then actually, I was looking at the website. It looks like they discontinued this one. So this one is called the Watagua. Probably butchering it. Watagua. Cool aesthetic though. It's got that Warncliffe. It's got this little thumb ramp thing here. Very cool button lock that works. Sincut knows how to do button locks for sure. And yeah, good micarta, black micarta. Blacked out blade, really nice. Wouldn't mind keeping this myself, but I might cut this one loose. Trying to move up in quality in my collection a little bit. I'm actually seeing myself, I don't know what the final number is, but I'm somewhere in the 160s or 170s on knives in my collection. So I'm thinking I need to kind of trim that down a little bit. So I'm going to see if I can manage to pull that off, possibly giving away some of my older knives that I don't carry as much, that are more budget. We'll see. All right, guys, 46 minutes. This is a record, the longest one I've ever done. I kind of warned you ahead of time. Sorry about that. I hope that if you were interested in finding out all the different knives that I had, that I didn't go on too long and make you fall asleep. But that's it. It's a lot of knives. Bought in 2 days. 2 days. But it was a lot of fun. Great people, great community. I met a couple guys at the show that I met last time I went, last year, and I hadn't seen them in a year. But we picked up right where we left off, and it was really good to see them. You know, some of the people that weren't able to go to the show, I was kind of sad about. Said Stevie, I got to meet him last year. Fu Pham was awesome working the Kaiser booth. He was amazing at the last show, but he wasn't able to make this one. But still, I got to meet some new people. Great times. I recommend it if you can't make a show, even to do like a local gun show or something like that. But Blade shows there's something special about them. I know that we have a California custom knife show coming up in like a week or two. So look for shows like that, or if you live in a place like where Smoky Mountain Knife Works or River Edge Cutlery, or those places that have shops that you can go in and handle knives. It's just great. I love to talk to these people. They love knives like I do, so I feel like I'm not so strange when I'm talking to them. It's a great deal. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up now. I promise, and we'll be doing more videos on these later. You guys, thanks for hanging in with me, and I will talk to you later.